Hey guys, welcome. This is Marshall. We're in Bletchley, Milton Keynes. This is Steve. My name is Robert. And we're here to celebrate the release of 5 new Marshall pedals, and they are amazing. They're very affordable, they look great, and they all have a specific sound, and Steve is going to take us through them. So, Steve?
Yeah, so as you can see with these pedals, each one is giving us the sound of an iconic Marshall amp, if you like. And the idea is with these, they're just an analog pedal, true bypass, all that kind of stuff, is to give people that Marshall sound on the go. So maybe you're at a gig, you haven't got your favourite amp, but you can take it with you in the pedal format.
All you need is a good clean amp.
That's it, there you go.
We just tried this with this clean, very nice Marshall amp.
Yeah.
And it sounds amazing, but you're going to hear this. It's really, really special.
Yeah, so as you can see, the clean sound of the amp. Nothing going on there, just a straight up, honest, clean sound. But moving from left to right, the first one we've got is the JVM pedal. The JVMs are known for like being very high gain, very aggressive. A lot of the metal guys like the JVM. And the control set is really simple. We've got volume, tone, gate, and gain.
Yeah.
So this is the only one with a built-in noise gate, and what the gate does, obviously it reduces all the noise for all the hiss. So when you're not playing, it will chop everything out.
Well, you're gonna need that with a pedal like that.
Exactly.
Super high gain.
Yeah. So with the pedal engaged, your amp goes from this to this.
Well, that's what you want to hear from a high gain amp, right?
So yeah, like I say, really easy to use, instant JVM tone in a box, and it is the gain channel from a JVM. People may ask, well, which channel from a JVM?
Yeah, obviously the gain channel.
It's the high gain channel.
Because you have the rhythm channel right here.
Yes.
So if you want a little more tone, let's say, what would you?
We'll go on to the 59.
Okay.
This is probably one of, or if not one of, probably the most iconic Marshall's ever made, a Plexi. And this pedal gives you the feel and the tone of a cranked up Marshall Plexi. So it's not high gain, especially in comparison to the JVM. It's more sort of mid-gain kind of crunch tones.
It has a very good tone. That's what I like in a pedal.
It's a huge tone on this pedal. You've got, again, tone and volume, but you've got high treble and normal controls. So like on an old Plexi, the only way to get the gain was turn the thing up. Yeah. And those are your...
The neighbours don't like that.
Well, no. Who cares about them? Yeah. But so essentially, they're your gain controls.
Yeah.
So again, I've just got it set up for a fairly regular sound. That's without, and then with.
And the nice thing about this is that you hear all the individual strings.
Yes.
There's a nice low end, which is probably almost clean, the low.
Yeah, and what I like about it too is also, with the old Marshalls, the 4-input Marshalls, there's a complexity in the high end, in the high frequencies.
Yeah, a lot of
stuff going on. Yeah, and that pedal captures that really well.
It's amazing actually, because if you hear the dry sound, it doesn't sound spectacular at all. It's quite average.
Yeah, we've done that kind of on purpose just to show that just a fairly, almost kind of stale, clean tone.
Yeah.
I know you can't feel this on the video, but it's really percussive to play as well, which is really nice.
Okay, then onto the JCM 800.
Okay, again another icon. The 800's kind of picked up where the Plexis left off. Obviously,
it's like an 80s amp, really.
Yeah, a little bit more rock. And again, the controls, we've got gain, sensitivity, tone and volume. And what the sensitivity is doing, because a lot of people will ask, is if you look at an 800, you've got 2 inputs. Yeah. You've got your high and low sensitivity. So we kind of gave people the option to kind of choose between high or low sensitivity and anywhere in between with that control.
Yeah, cool.
Basically, see, it's kind of going to complement your guitar whichever you're going to plug into it. So if you've got a real low output guitar, you can bump the sensitivity up a little bit. But what we've done on the pedal actually, with the sensitivity turned up, you do get a little bit more hair than a regular 800, so there's a touch more gain on there if you want it. So again, from the clean.
Very compact sound.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. So it's a much tighter kind of gain sound.
And if you want a little more hair, then you go to
So obviously as you know, you go through the timeline of Marshall, the 900s came out after the kind of 800s. There was other amps in between, but you know, as far as the big icons go, the 900 really, you know, a lot of people getting amps modified and tweaked for more gain at the time. So the 900s were an answer to that when they came out back in the day. On the 900 pedal, we've got
like 1992 or something.
Yeah, 1990 and 91, depending which version you were looking at with the 900s. But so you got gain, contour, tone, and volume. Now there wasn't a contour control in the JCM 900, but again we wanted to make all the pedals a little bit different to each other with the feature set. But what the contour is really useful for, the 900s had a very distinct mid-range, a particular sound. It allows you to dial that mid-range in depending which amp you're plugging into.
Okay,
So it's quite a useful control.
Also, what kind of guitar you use. Probably.
Exactly. Yeah.
More of a fuzzy edge to it.
Yeah, it's brighter, it's more aggressive, it's got a lot more cut to it. But again, the low end is really tight with a 900.
It is. DSL.
Yeah, we've got a DSL. Now, DSL's, you know...
That's the odd one out, I would say.
Definitely the odd one out, but it's an amp that's been around for a long time in Marshall. I mean, DSLs, we know them now, you know, they've been around for a long time, but they originally came out in the 90s as like the flagship Marshall, the late 90s, around 97-ish. And a lot of famous players did use them. It was kind of the go-to amp for a long time. So even though it might not have the same reverence as some of the, you know, the Plexis and the 800s, it's became kind of part of the catalogue, really.
Yeah, and it's a little more gritty, a little more dirty sounding.
Yeah, so we'll hear it, so... Yeah, it's got a lot more low end because again with the control set on this one, we've got gain, tone and volume, which is fairly standard, but we've added deep, which again was on the DSLs, which basically gave you a lot of low end. Yeah. In the real amps, it was power amp, bass frequencies, if you like.
Yeah. So it's more gritty, no?
Yeah.
I like all of them, and they're quite different. I mean, my favorite would be the 59, but that's really personal. I mean, if you're more of a high gain player, I would say JCM 900, or a little more classic rock JCM 800. Yeah. Or if you want to go all the way, then DSL.
Yeah. I mean, they've all got their own thing going on, like you're saying. A lot of people who know they like a particular amp will know which pedal to gravitate towards.
But still, I think you can, because they have more, a larger palette, let's say, than just the amp.
Yes.
So you can actually, depending on what amp you're using for the clean sound, you can actually vary more, for a fraction of the price. Obviously.
Yeah, and actually, what I found with experimenting with these, and depending on your live setup, a lot of people play with a clean amp, but sometimes if you've got an amp which has already got an overdrive and a clean, sometimes you want that third channel, and adding a pedal to that clean channel is a good way of doing that. You might not want as much gain as channel 2 on your amp, so you add a pedal in to do something
like a
different.
crunchy.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah. Well, thank you, man.
No problem.
Really appreciate it. And especially since they're so affordable, it's really a big palette. That's the whole Marshall history right here.
Yeah. They're really affordable, but what I like about them is when you saw them earlier and you picked them up, they're built, they're solid.
Yeah, they're built,
they're gig ready.
Yeah. And they have this nice light built in. You can actually see when they're engaged. Yeah. So, very good addition to the Marshall line. So, see you at Maxguitar and try them out.